This world is built on violence, lies, oppression, etc. So anybody who goes against the founding values and principles and actions that this present world of power is built on, you become an enemy to Pharaoh. Guess what? This just ain't a black thing. If you're a white man or if you're a white person, man or woman, and you want to fight the good fight and be on the side of righteousness, and you identify oppression or identify wrongdoing, and you try to fight against that thing that you just identified, guess what? You become an enemy to Pharaoh too. You on a chopping block too. Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Be a Viking podcast. Welcome back, all family, friends, haters, everybody. Appreciate y'all tapping into another episode of the Don't Be a Viking podcast. Now, in the last episode I just had with a couple, it was a good episode. Go check that out if you ain't watched it. In the last episode I just had, we had touched on the biblical story of Pharaoh and the children of Israel. Now, the specific part we touched on was when Pharaoh said, kill the male, spare the female. And I was going back over some different studies today, and I want to make some different comparisons with that same term that Pharaoh used, kill the male, spare the female. Let's talk about what it means physically. Let's talk about what it means spiritually, and let's talk about how it is currently used. Is this just something that was said 2,000 years ago? Is it just a tactic that was used 2,000? Nah, Moses, that was 4,000 years ago. So is it just a tactic that was used 4,000 years ago with Moses? Or is this something that is also presently enacted? And we're going to talk about all the present components of it. Who is Pharaoh? And like I said, what is this tactic? You know what physical killing is, so we don't even need to go into that. If you don't know what physical killing is, you on the wrong video. But let's look at the psychological part of it. Let's look at the spiritual part of it. So what does psychologically killing the male look like? So the man or the male represents something that will challenge something he deems as wrong. The masculinity is something that will go against whatever he identifies as an enemy. This male or man or masculinity represents something that asserts dominance, something that is confrontational to certain things, loving to other things, but we sticking on the confrontational part for this example. Confrontational, assertive, a challenger, somebody that will show hostility to what they deem worthy of being hostile towards. You see what I'm saying? The male represents somebody who is going to fight against whatever they think is wrong. Now let's look at it from a different sense. Say if you got a male, you got a female. To produce life, the male impregnates the female. So he gives off the germ of life to the woman. He contains the seed or the catalyst for new growth. The woman who is receiving this seed or this catalyst for growth, she is the sustainer of life, the evolver of life, the nurturer of life. She takes what he gives her and she grows it, she expands it. Now think about this, that's the physical part. Think about this same principle psychologically and spiritually. If kill the male and spare the female, if we look at it beyond literal and physical killing, a male, XY chromosome person walking around can still be present and still be enacting Pharaoh's plan. How? Because if the woman takes what the man gives her and grows it, same thing if we're talking about Pharaoh's plan. If he got a strategy, if he got an agenda, even if you a male, even if you got XY chromosome, a phallus, all this, that, and third, it will still be killing the male, sparing the female if you take Pharaoh's agenda, take the other man's agenda, and you grow his agenda. Especially if this is something you should be challenging and fighting against. But if you're not knowledgeable enough to identify this as an enemy's plan, you will still go along with it. So spurring the female, or this female aspect, could be just growing and maintaining and nurturing the present system and powers that already exist. So you can be a literal female doing it, or you can be a male doing it. You see what I'm saying? So this is the importance of studying stuff beyond the physical. So spurring the female can simply mean only allowing ideas that add value to, conform, or support the dominant system. And the dominant system is Pharaoh's system. Now let's ask ourselves, why did Pharaoh say kill the males and spare the females? So we know he said it. We just went into a couple different ways it can be viewed, but why did he say it? So the reason Pharaoh said kill the males, spare the females is because he feared that the children of Israel were growing or about to grow in power, and them growing in power will bring an end to his rule and oppression over them. And that's how he got his power. So them growing in power will bring an end to his power. That's why he said kill the males, spare the females. By killing the males, killing the men, and the men are the ones who gonna fight against the oppression, who gonna lead they people out of the oppression. By killing them, you keep the people in oppression. All right, cool. Who was Pharaoh? Pharaoh was the ruler of Egypt. Okay, so if we want to study this in today's time, and we want to make comparisons in today's time, it would be wise for us to identify Pharaoh as the ruler of Egypt, which he was. Okay, cool. So to look at that in today's time, we'll look at who is the ruler of today. Who is the ruler or rulers, plural, of America? Who are the exact people, and what positions do they hold? What are they ideologies? What are they doctrines? What propaganda do they put out? You see what I'm saying? So we can identify Pharaoh. Bam, Egypt. He was the ruler of Egypt. You want to make that comparison today? Look at the rulers today. So if we know who Pharaoh is, we know what he said, we know why he said it. This why he said it part, which again, he was just scared of the children of Israel gaining power because he was going to lose his power. This reasoning is similar to what a sister named Carol Anderson said. She described it as white rage. I don't want to misquote the sister. We're going to read it directly from her. I got it on my phone right here. Bam, let me go to it. I just had it. White rage is not about visible violence, but rather it works its way through the courts, the legislators, and a range of government bureaucracies. It wreaks havoc subtly, most imperceptibly, too imperceptibly, certainly for a nation consistently drawn to the spectacular, to what we can see, is not the Klan. White rage doesn't have to wear sheets, burn crosses, or take to the streets. Working the halls of power, it can achieve its end far more effectively, far more destructively. The trigger for white rage inevitably is black advancement. It is not the mere presence of black people that is the problem. Rather, it is the blackness with ambition, with drive, with purpose, with aspirations, and with demands for full and equal citizenship. It is blackness that refuses to accept subjugation, to give up. A formidable array of policy assaults and legal contortions has consistently punished black resilience, black resolve, and all the while, white rage manages to maintain not only the upper hand, but also, apparently, the moral high ground. Bam, that's what she said. Now, I want to highlight a couple things of what she said. For one, she said that this white rage is not just because you black. It's the black advancement. Keep in mind what we said previously, that you can be a male and still be following Pharaoh plan. So it's not just because you a male. Now, if you a male that is masculine, if you a male that not is masculine like how the world keep trying to throw out different terms of masculine. If you are masculine in the eyes of how God made man to be, if you are a man striving to be righteous and are willing to fight against anything that is trying to push other than righteousness, this is the type of man Pharaoh like, kill the male, spare the female. Likewise, if you just black, you can be a black damn fool. But if you're a black man that stand on morals, principles, and righteousness, that's a black man that's an enemy to Pharaoh. And I want to point out, you see how when she was talking about white rage, she was like, they don't need to hit the streets. They don't need to like do physical harm out in the streets like the Klan do. They don't need to do that. She was like, they do it through legislators. They do it through policies. They do it through government. They do it through institutions and systems. You see what I'm saying? They take to the courts and all this, that, and third. When you read the Bible and you see what Pharaoh said, let's deal with them shrewdly. Shrewdly means wise, but still with evil intention, still wickedly. So shrewdly indicates exactly what she said. We ain't got to do it out in the public in front of everybody. That ain't shrewd. That ain't wise. We're going to do it subtly. Just like she was just saying, imperceptibly. Imperceptibly mean like it's hard to even see it. You got to really dig deep to see what they doing. Man, this description by the sister Carol Anderson perfectly describes Pharaoh and his plan. My stomach growling so hard. I wonder can y'all hear it on the mic. That'll be interesting if y'all can. I'll see when I edit it. That junk going too ham. Alright, now that my stomach chilling, let's keep going into it. So, black advancement is the catalyst for this huff and puff white rage. Alright, cool. Now, think about this. If the black advancement is the catalyst, what is a catalyst? A catalyst is something that ignites something else. So, you can say, alright, think about if a flame died. Like say if I'm finna barbecue, I got the grill going and the flame getting low is dying down. The catalyst is the lighter fluid. Pour the lighter fluid on it, bam, it get big. You see what I'm saying? Or to have some set on fire in the first place. Let's say I got some paper. The catalyst to set it on fire, the catalyst is just, like I said, it just ignites some. So that's why I'm using the analogy of fire. The catalyst is the lighter. Bam, light it. It go in the flames. I think the literal definition of catalyst, I'll put it up on the screen, is just like to cause something to happen. But it's to cause it to happen like suddenly. Alright, cool. Now, if black advancement is the catalyst to white rage, just like the two previous examples I just gave, the thing that the catalyst is igniting must already be present. You can't bring something out of somebody that's not already in them. So for our black advancement to bring out white rage, to bring out this hatred and violence towards us, that means their hatred for us is already in them. They already enacted it, and they was going to already enact that regardless. But the catalyst brought it out suddenly, like ASAP. You see what I'm saying? Instead of it happening in 30 minutes, it's going to happen in the same second. So don't think that the black advancement is creating the white rage. No, the black advancement is just acting as a catalyst towards it. It's just making it come up suddenly. Guess what? This just ain't a black thing. If you're a white man, or if you're a white person, man or woman, and you want to fight the good fight and be on the side of righteousness, and you identify oppression or identify wrongdoing, and you try to fight against that thing that you just identified, guess what? You become an enemy to Pharaoh too. You on a chopping block too. This world is built on violence, lies, oppression, etc. So anybody who goes against the founding values and principles and actions that this present world of power is built on, you become an enemy to Pharaoh. Pharaoh fear losing his power. If Pharaoh fear losing his power, and his power is based on these tactics, anybody who go against these tactics or don't further these tactics is hurting Pharaoh's plan. And by hurt his plan, I mean you are, what's the word I want to use? Not enacting. You are manifesting the reality of his fear. If you not with oppression, if you not with racism, if you not with lies, if you not with these attacks, that mean you against it. There's no middle ground. You either with it or against it. So if you against it, this what he fear. And since this what he fear, meaning this was gonna make him lose power and make his enemies gain power, then guess what? Like I said, you on the chopping block. You an enemy of Pharaoh. He look at you with fear. Cause if his fear was, I'ma lose power, and the folks I got power over gonna gain power. If this his fear, anything you do to manifest that becoming a reality, he fear you too. Simple as that. Now, if he fear you, if Pharaoh fear you, the leader, the ruler, you got a formidable enemy. You got a formidable opponent against you. So simply put, Pharaoh's fear or white rage is predicated upon black advancement. More specifically, it's predicated upon the fighting of wickedness, the fighting of unrighteousness. Fighting against it, bring out Pharaoh fear or bring out this white rage. Fighting against oppression, fighting against mistreatment of people, fighting against racism, fighting against bigotry, fighting against all these different forms of Pharaoh's tactics and plans brings out Pharaoh's fear or this white rage. Now, the thing is, as long as black folks exist, it's going to be black advancement, black progress. Like, that's just in our nature. Like, to always try to thrive and strive to do better than we previously did. Like, that's just the way of life, to constantly keep evolving and evolving. So, if that's in our nature, if we're going to do that long as we're alive, guess what? Pharaoh going to hate us as long as we're alive. This white rage going to exist as long as we're alive. So what is the solution? Separation. Because that's exactly what Moses and the children of Pharaoh did. They separated from Pharaoh. Now, in they example, they made an exodus as far as they left the land. I'm not suggesting we get up from America and move elsewhere, move to another country, move to another continent. I ain't gonna lie. Bro, you scared. I speak for myself. If you don't want me to speak for you. I'm scared, or I don't think scared is the word, but for lack of a better word, I'm gonna say scared. We scared to just pack up and move to another state. Don't think I'm saying, yeah, let's move to another country. Nah, bro. What I'm saying is separate as far as you ain't gotta align your mind with Pharaoh mind. Remember Pharaoh being the leaders of today's world. You ain't gotta align your mind with them, align your principles, align your values. You ain't gotta do everything they do or conform to everything they say. When I say separate, this separation is a mental separation, a spiritual separation. It ain't gotta be a physical separation. Think about in school. It's different cliques or different groups of people at school. You got the people who, the class clowns. You probably got the athletes over here. You probably got the super studious people over here. You probably got a couple weird kids over here. Everybody in the same classroom, but they separated themselves naturally or sometimes unnatural through bullying or whatever, but you get the point. They separated themselves based off what we into versus what y'all into. But everybody in the same classroom. It can be that same thing. Everybody can still be in America, but we ain't got to get down what they get down with. You know what I'm saying? So that separation is important. Now, a lot of young brothers and sisters, well, I ain't even gonna use sisters in this. A lot of young brothers think that the most formidable weapon is a gun. I ain't gonna lie, a gun ain't gonna help you in this fight. You ain't gonna use the gun against systems, values, principalities. The gun won't help you. But the idea of what the gun represent spiritually and mentally is intriguing, and I'm gonna touch on it the next episode. I don't think the gun is the say all be all answer. I don't think that's our saving force. But I want to dig deeper into the gun, what it mean, what it represent, and I want to dive into that and see why are so many of our people infatuated with the gun. But that's all we're going to say on this episode of Don't Be a Viking podcast. I hope y'all got a lot out of it. We went over Pharaoh, the connection between the physical, the spiritual, the psychological, the mental. We went into how it's implemented today. We went into the good sister Carol Anderson and her explanation of white rage and how everything play hand in hand. And we got down to the bottom to it. Why is Pharaoh's fear real? Why is a white rage real? What ignites it? What is the catalyst of it? And that catalyst gonna always exist. So what's the answer to it? Now, next episode, we're gonna get into the gun, because that and gangs is something our people, for lack of a better word, are attached to. And I want to dive into both of them, and we're going to pick it apart and see why. Is it good? Is it bad? And just break it all down. So appreciate y'all tapping into this episode of the Don't Be a Viking podcast. If y'all like the episode, man, hit the like button, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Leave a comment if it's another topic you want me to go into that I either touched on previously, you want me to go into it in a different way, or it's just a new topic I ain't never touched before. Man, let me know something. I ain't gonna know if you wanna let me know. You feel me? Now, make sure y'all do all the things I just said, like, comment, follow the Instagram, bam, put the Instagram up on the screen somewhere. I appreciate y'all. Yes, sir, Ski.